For 20 years, Johnny and his wife, Mary, lived in a quiet house near the river in the small town of Enewe, Anambra State. They had been married for many years, but their home was silent, like an empty cave. No baby cries, no laughter, only the steady sound of the river flowing behind their house. Every morning, when the sun was still small in the sky, Mary would walk slowly to the river. She would kneel on the soft sand, touch her empty stomach, and whisper, "Oh great spirit, please give me one child before I die." She said it like a song, the same way, every day, whether it was rainy or sunny, hot or cold. Her voice was soft, but inside, it carried deep pain. Johnny would sit behind her, watching quietly. He no longer prayed. He just sighed like a tired wind and looked at his wife with sad eyes. In the town, people had started talking. Some whispered, "Her womb is locked like a box with no key." Others said, "Maybe it is Johnny. Maybe he eats his children in his dreams." But Johnny and Mary never answered. They just kept trying, hoping, and waiting. They went from one hospital to another. Doctors checked everything and shook their heads. Medically, nothing is wrong, they always said. The couple did not understand. If nothing was wrong, why was there still no child? Then they turned to prayer houses. Prophets poured oil on Mary's belly, pressed her forehead, and shouted, "Fire! Receive your baby now," until Mary fainted and fell on the floor like a dry leaf. But nothing happened, only headaches and dizziness. Johnny carried her home, bathed her, and gave her food to eat, but the pain in their hearts remained. They still had no child. The whispers in the town continued to grow. Next, they visited a native healer in Oka. The man had a long beard like a mop, and his voice rumbled like thunder. He gave them bitter herbs. "This one opened a womb that was drier than old bread," he said. Mary and Johnny drank. Their mouths twisted like bitter fruit, but they believed him. 1 month passed. Mary's stomach remained flat like a stone. Still, no child. The native healer told them to return in 3 months, but even after waiting, nothing changed. More people in town started making jokes. "Maybe she should borrow another woman's womb," some laughed. "Maybe Johnny is cursed," others whispered. But Johnny and Mary remained silent. Then, someone told them to bathe at midnight in the river. They carried a clear pot, chanted strange words, and walked backward into the water. The moon looked at them but said nothing. Still, nothing changed. More people gave them advice. "Give an offering," they said. Johnny sold his only motorcycle, the one he used to carry firewood to the market. "God will see our sacrifice," he told Mary. She nodded and decided to fast. No food, no water, for 14 days. Her lips cracked, her hands shook, but she kept whispering, "Maybe God wants more pain." Johnny watched her in fear, but she refused to stop. She believed that suffering would open the door to a child. The years passed, but their pain only grew like grass in the rainy season, spreading and covering their hearts. It was their 15th year of marriage when they met a man of God in Onitsha. He was famous, and people said his prayers brought miracles. His robe was long, his voice deep, and his eyes sharp. He looked at Mary with great seriousness and said, "The only way you can carry a baby is if you sleep with me. It is a spiritual covenant." Mary's eyes opened wide. She dropped to the floor and wept like a child. "No, I cannot. I will not," she cried. She had fasted, she had prayed, she had done everything, but she would not betray her husband. The pastor smiled and told her she was stubborn. "God's ways are mysterious," he said, "and sometimes the answer comes in ways we do not expect." But Mary refused. She ran out of the church and fell into Johnny's arms, crying. Johnny held her tightly, saying nothing, but his heart was breaking. That night they did not sleep. Mary held Johnny and wept into his chest. They did not speak. They just sat by the river, listening to the frogs sing. The water continued to flow, as if washing away their hopes. The silence of their home became heavier than ever. People continued to mock them, but they no longer cared. They had given up. From that day, they stopped visiting people. They stopped seeking answers. They only held each other, sitting by the quiet river, watching the water flow, wondering if their pain would ever end. The days turned to weeks, the weeks to months, and still, no child. But for the first time, they did not run around searching for solutions. They only sat together, in silence, listening to the whispers of the night. And in that silence, they found something else, a deep, quiet love that no one could take away from them. Hope you enjoyed the tale. If so, please like the video, share it with your family and friends. Comment on it and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for more enchanting tales like this one. Goodbye.